Hey everybody, Laura again. I know this is vlog number 2, and I'm really excited. So far I really like vlogs. I hope you like watching them. Otherwise I'm just kind of making them for myself. Anyway, it's been a month since I finished my first draft, and I took a couple weeks off just to kind of experience life again, get away from my book, and then I started my read-through of my first draft, looking for edits, checking for cohesiveness, checking out all the characters, looking at plot holes, character development, plot line, timeline issues, pretty much anything that needs fixing in my book, rewording parts that just really aren't important and I need to cut. So I went through chapter by chapter, and I did that, and I have just all these nice little pretty post-it notes here. And that are just the major ones. And then I went through and, put them on the page here. So, you have just pages and pages of post-it notes. Pretty much in the beginning I have one every other page and sometimes 2. So that's a lot. I mean, I don't know if I knew that my book would have so many edits when I started. Let's face it, you don't think it will, but then it does. But let me start with the good news first. Good news is I chose a title finally. I'm going to go with Flames of Starlight, which was one of my favorite ones. Really conjured up an image when I was writing, and for a title, which I really liked. So that's the one I'm going to stick with, which I'm really excited about so far. But, titles can get changed, and I'm really not connected to this. Like, it's not my title. So if my agent wants to change it someday, please go ahead. Just publish me. Yeah, it's just, I'm really excited about it. So, but anyway, so going through and doing my edits. I had days where I was reading this and I was just like, this book is amazing. I can write so good. It's just awesome. And then I had other days where I'm like, this is complete crap. I don't think I'd want the mailman to see it, much less anybody who actually reads decent books. I mean, I'm sorry, I guess the mailman could read decent books, but whatever. It's just, I don't want anyone to see this. This is just horrible crap. And, this is cliche, this is boring, the dialogue sucks. I mean, a lot of my dialogue does suck. I hate dialogue. But, dialogue is your bread and butter of your characters, so I'm going to have to learn to deal with it and make good dialogue. But yeah, and then I thought I had a couple plot holes, 1, 2, 3, not that many. Oh yeah, for the most part my book is cohesive. No, I have 12 plot holes that are pretty pretty huge. They're not just small little ones. I mean, they're pretty big, so-and-so's powers can't happen because of this scene, and that doesn't make sense because of that, and this can't happen because they're 2 hours away, not 10. It was crazy. I really didn't think about all the things that were in my book until I started. That's what's nice about reading it, all the way through and checking for cohesiveness, and for unity in your book, which is huge. But, I mean, who has the time to read a 300-page novel time after time after time again, without losing some of your fresh take on it? So that's why we do drafts. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So, the first draft is called your down draft because you're writing everything down and you're trying to just get the story out. I also think that the first draft is for learning what your story is about. And you're kind of like, what? Learning what your story is about? Shouldn't you already know that when you start writing? Well, yes, but Anne Lamott says that, writing a first draft is like watching a Polaroid develop. You have no idea what's going to come out until it's done. And I'm paraphrasing there because I don't have the exact quote in front of me. But basically that's what it was. I started writing and I'm like, oh, I have this great story, and then it kind of morphed into something else. My characters came off, I didn't intend for Rowan to be like he was, and he came off, just in another way, and so did, Renara. It's just, my characters were just really fun, and they kind of just spoke to me, and they jumped off the page, which I love. And it's really fun, but it's not what you intended. So the picture is different. But, that's what's great about the first draft. You just learn what your story is about, and then you go from there. So now I'm starting what's called the second draft, or the updraft, where you pretty much rewrite your entire story. I mean, let's face it, most people, they don't get a beautiful first draft. I mean, it's just, even famous people. I still find that hard to believe, so I'm like, no, J.K. Rowling just wrote it down, and it was beautiful, and she didn't have to edit. I mean, Harry was just great, and Hermione and Ron, they just came like that, it just came to her, and she was done in like a week. No, I'm sure she probably went through the same edits I'm going through, which is really kind of scary to me because it's, I mean, this is J.K. Rowling we're talking about. But at the same time, it's nice to know that other writers have these problems too, and that other writers do the same thing, so that I'm not doing too bad. But yeah, I'm nervous about going through and starting just because of the sheer magnitude of how much I want to change. I mean, I'm talking about rewriting almost all of my book. What I have is great. It just doesn't match what I have in my head. I mean, this whole book, this is about half of as good a story as I have in my head of it. It's just how do I get it out from my head and start, I mean, you know, just to make it into a good book. You know, to make it fantastic like I see. It's just so confusing to me. I think I'm just going to have to start and then just go day by day and fix what I can. Maybe not even start at the beginning. Maybe start in the middle. I really don't know, and it's really scary. I think editing is going to be a lot harder for me than writing, just because I really like writing. I like, you know, just feeling it kind of flow out of you, all that kind of stuff. But editing is going to be kind of choppy and kind of slow, and it's going to probably take a while. I think in my writing plan I chiseled 2 or 3 months in, and I'm going to need every day. So I was kind of smart about that. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to start editing and fixing some of these plot holes. I have to change a bunch of characters' names. I have to, you know, just figure out all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be really fun. But I promise I will try and vlog again and have some more fun things to say. Thanks so much for joining me.